Ah, mobile games. We all remember the classics. The games that you'd play on your phone every day that you'd grind, which was so addicting. Games you could play for hours on end. We have all had our fair share of good mobile games. You all know the ones. The hood classics, such as Plants vs. Zombies, Jetpack Joyride, Angry Birds, Temple Run, and so much more. These mobile games were special, and were basically downloaded for free on your phone, so that you could play them on the go. Since then, these mobile games have gotten really nostalgic, and they were what most of our childhoods were built on. Mobile games are so good that there was no way they could possibly fall off. Right? Now you may think the oldest form of mobile games come in the compatibility of modern smartphones. However, mobile games have been a thing ever since flip phones and Nokia phones, with the first ever mobile game being a pre-installed Tetris-like game. Then, later evolving into Snake games, which became one of the first ever coded games that is one of the most recognized to this day. But with the death of Nokia and flip phones came with the birth of smartphones. And with that, mobile games came with it, with the first few successful mobile games being Angry Birds, Plants vs. Zombies, Candy Crush, and so much more. These first few mobile games have impacted all of us at one certain time period, when we have a minute to spare and we pull out our phones and play these very addicting games. And not only did the addicting style have an impact on the consumers, but also the producers like mobile game devs. Soon, mobile games were taking over. Everyone had them installed. Got games on your phone? You name it. Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, perhaps you'd like some Subway Surfers. Mobile games were in its prime, with a lot of new developers making the spotlight every single day, and with these games hitting the jackpot almost 100% of the time. The devs had an idea, and this idea involved sequels. Suddenly, sequels were announced for your favorite mobile games. Fruit Ninja? Make it a sequel. Angry Birds? Why stop at sequels? Make loads of commercial games that advertise upcoming movies, but also give the player a very interactive experience. Where's My Water? That was successful. Make a sequel to it. Plants vs. Zombies? Why stop at sequels? Make games dedicated to single countries. Now you may think that sequels were a good thing for the average consumer. I mean, who wouldn't want more free content for some of your favorite mobile games? Right? But there was a catch. The success that the old mobile games got when they first came out hit the game developers like a bus. Nobody expected it, and so they thought they could get away with literally making the sequels more money-grabbing. PvZ 2? Yeah, more like pay-to-play versus Zombies 2. Fruit Ninja? Will say hello to ads, and more ads. Injustice 2? Introducing the life system, and just like that, a pattern was obvious. Mobile games were getting more and more money-hungry. Instead of making the consumers pay once for the whole game, bombard them with in-app purchases instead. Oh, you died in a mobile game? Enjoy an unskippable ad. You won in a mobile game? Have an ad. You just downloaded the game? Ad for you. Wanna make progress in the game? Watch some ads for free money. More ads and money make the world go round. But there was a simple fact here. Even though mobile games got progressively more and more money hungry, they were advertised properly and weren't misleading. Sure that in some games you had to pay money for some energy points to even play the game at all, but the games were still something that you could play and enjoy and were real games. And of course, the game devs knew that since us, the consumers, would still play them, they would not have any problem with making their games a little more ad-friendly. And while this was the case and the games did well, even though some of them became literally unbearable, the game devs pushed their lucks even more. For most game developers, they enjoy creating games. However, for some, they solely create games for just a quick buck. Sure, there's nothing wrong with getting paid for making games, but games that are just misleading and money-grabbing are just pushing their luck a little too far. The year is 2017. Companies are on their quest to extort as much money as they can from the average consumer. How can we put as little effort as possible into creating a game, but make the most amount of money possible? We create a fake multiplayer game that is completely misleading and put 1,000,000 ads into it. Or we create a pay-to-win system that only works if the player buys in-app purchases or watches ads. Well, why not both? Remember those games that were popular a few years ago? Let's just completely rip them off. Fall Guys, more like Fail Guys. Among Us, more like Murder Us. Remember Candy Crush? Let's rip off that genre and create a clickbait game instead. Sooner or later, mobile games were getting worse and worse. The decay of good mobile games were soon replaced by weirder and more gimmicky titles. Such titles that are trendier and are more money hungry. Sure, the original game devs are still around making games, but obviously they weren't trendy and weren't going with the program and the flow. Of course, with the misleading promotion came the horrible, disgusting, and weird ads. These ads were so misleading that some mobile game companies even got sued for making them. Homescapes. And even though good mobile games still exist out there like Among Us and COD Mobile, the golden era of mobile games is over. Fake and clickbait companies now rule the Play Store, and your chances of coming across a mobile game that's not misleading or a cash grab is so low to the point that the genre of mobile games have just died out. Saddens me that once there was a time where the App Store was filled with actually good mobile games, games that you could sit down and play for hours, games that weren't bombarded with ads, games that were actually games. But as of now, mobile games have earned a bad reputation, and that reputation will probably never go away, as long as bad mobile games are around. And that is the fall of mobile games.